Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Kaitano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I am Isani Kaitano.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
Today is Wednesday, the 8th of April.
Yeah.
Easter come and gone just like that.
Just like that, Isani.
We're back in the thick of things, Sab.
It is the middle of the week, and you guys should have no excuses about, it is still trying to recover for a long weekend. It's a short week, and so, with the 4 days that we have on hand, we should be jumping into the swing of things and trying to get work done. How you feeling? Refreshed?
Not quite.
No.
And it's not because I was doing the most over the Easter either. It's the fact that yesterday was quite a heavy day for us in the newsroom. And I'll be the first to say that. I saw all the work being done in and around the place in terms of getting the stories out and everything. And yes, I think all of us, it's safe to say, left from here a bit knocked yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's a brand new day.
It is.
Brand new motivation, right? And of course, we're here to face the challenges ahead.
We are.
No 2 days are alike in this business, right?
Very much so. And there's a lot to cover, a lot of ground to cover. I know that a lot of us right now, we are in tune with what's taking place locally and internationally as well. So we'll also be highlighting that a little bit.
So before we get into that, Sabrina, let's jump into our show lineup for this morning. So we will be joined by a representative from the National Anti-Doping Organization, and we discuss pushing for a drug-free competition. We'll also be exploring job opportunities with the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry as they have an upcoming job expo. Aziatic elevates Belizean sound with Garabali Nuru, right? So for those who don't know Aziatic, he's a Belizean Punta Rock artist. And lastly, the Belize City Defenders, Big John, will be joining us this morning to discuss the upcoming Griga Dream Ballers game. All right, so those are our topics for this morning.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know that, as I mentioned, a lot of us right now, we are paying close attention to what's taking place internationally. Our news covered all the happenings that took place over the weekend and some of the things that we are keeping a close eye on this week as well. And so here are some of the things we think you should know before you leave your homes this morning, starting off with U.S., Israel, and Iran agreed to ceasefire before Trump's deadline. There was some heavy news coming out of the United States yesterday. Social media posts made by the President Donald Trump saying that he would essentially kill an entire civilization. And so there's been some updates on the ceasefire to the war that's taking place right now. Also, I want to include in this list refunds promised at 10. Frustration arrived first. This has to do, Isani, with the Lions refund from the raffle that was held last year. Also,
that was to have been held.
That was to have been held last year. And also, Wireless Festival canceled after Kanye West blocked from coming to UK. Across Borders highlights episode 4. And I am getting a little bit sad because we are winding down on that travel series. And lastly, family says Dan Griga man kidnapped, ransom calls linked to Mexican number. So very similar to a story that we highlighted earlier in the year.
So, I think the big news on the global stage has to do with the quote-unquote last-minute announcement of a ceasefire with the Iran conflict. Now, I think a lot of us were watching international news very closely over the past 48 hours, right? Simply because U.S. President Donald Trump had given an ultimatum that the Iranians were to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 8 o'clock yesterday.
PM.
Yes. Failure to do so would have meant that there would have been an escalation of conflict. Now, it can't kill a whole civilization.
But those were his words.
But that's grossly exaggerated, right? Is to say that the level of, or the ramping up of aggression.
The wrath.
Right?
The downpour.
In terms of bombing out and leveling infrastructure, right? That was primarily what was at heart here. The fact that the U.S. would have gone for Iranian infrastructure, which includes roads, bridges, the energy plants, and so on, right? And before all of this, there were serious questions being asked because under the Geneva Convention, which was signed by many of the UN countries, the UN nations after World War II, certain acts of war, if I could describe it as such, are completely prohibited, right? So you can't just blow up infrastructure and all of that stuff because it can be argued that those would constitute crimes of war, right? So all of these are pending questions. This is the reason why people are waiting to see what's going to happen at 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Because, international lawyers are watching this thing. Regular folks like you and I, we're also keeping an eye on it. And 1 hour before the 8 o'clock deadline, President Trump took to his Truth Social platform and he issued a fairly lengthy statement, which sums up the fact that, look, a ceasefire has been called for the next 2 weeks. Now, what is a ceasefire? It's a temporary pullback, so to speak, from war or conflict.
Yeah.
But all of this hinges on the safe reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, right? As we've said repeatedly, the Strait of Hormuz is a choke point between Iran and Oman, right? Where 20% of the world's oil shipment passes through. And why it is important to you, because I would feel the fuel punch.
Yeah.
Right? I would feel that. But yes, so it hinges on that. If anything happens during the intervening time, within the next 2 weeks or so, then we're right back at the same issue.
But also, in just 2 weeks, can we feel any real relief?
Well, it won't happen within the next well, speaking for Belize, remember our shipments come on a particular schedule, right? And so I'm glad you asked that question simply because over the weekend, we experienced a third price hike.
Yeah.
So within the next 2 weeks, I don't know, nor do I expect that we'll see an immediate relief at the pump. What has happened in the wake of that announcement from the president yesterday is that the cost per barrel of fuel, the cost per barrel of oil, on the world market has gone down, right? Now, when that trickle-down effect reaches Belize, we'll see.
Yeah,
right?
we don't know.
That's an open-ended question at this point. But my opinion now, right? If we feel the pinch almost right away, we're supposed to feel the relief almost right away too, right? But
Yeah,
hey, that's just my 2 cents, right? But
Yeah.
yes, that's what's been taking place on the other side of the world. But it's worth noting and keeping a careful eye on because as I just outlined, what happened over there
affects us, of course,
Yeah.
and we do have to monitor it. We know that the statements that were made, Donald Trump expressed that there was an opening of the strait, which will allow them full access. However, I believe from Iran's side, they also put out a statement saying that there were certain terms and restrictions that would apply. So they have kind of like differing statements on the matter as well.
Well, the ceasefire was brokered in large part by Pakistan, right? So you have to understand that in the Middle East, there are certain countries that I would describe to an extent as fairly neutral. So Oman is one of those countries where it has never really gotten involved in any of the issues in and around that part of the world. As a matter of fact, they exist to sort of broker peace or a truce between warring countries, right?
But then you also have Lebanon that's still being
Well, yeah,
impacted.
Lebanon is not in the equation where
Yeah.
the brokering of the armistice or the ceasefire is concerned.
Yeah.
That's still an ongoing issue between Israel and Lebanon, right? But yes, so Pakistan was critical in, sort of bringing the two sides to the table and working out this interim agreement, if I'll describe it as such, right? But there's some reprieve, I guess. Israel, on one hand, may very well see an easing of all the bombs and the missiles that are being fired its way, right? Maybe it's now a time for the Iranians to kind of find some level of, normalcy, I guess. I don't know. That's just my description. It may not necessarily be that. I don't live there. I don't see what's happening on the ground firsthand. But yes, it is a ceasefire nonetheless. So moving along, Sabrina, this is still on the international stage, right? So for those of us who've been following the music scene, not only here at home, but regionally and internationally, 4 years or so ago, right, Kanye West went on a serious rant where he was spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric. What does that mean? Long story short, man talk bad about the Jewish community and stuff like that, right? And hate speech is not supposed to be countenanced in any form. Doesn't matter if that's just me and you to talk. It no matter if I got a platform and I spew that out into the world. It should not be countenanced. So, because of that, he lost his Adidas contract, right? Because of that, a lot of the sponsorship that he has been having as
Brand
a
deals,
musical artist, as a performing artist, were pulled back. Now, the man just dropped an album. Asked me if I don't listen to it. Me personally cancel the man from
Really?
Life of Pablo.
But
I
you
just
were
stopped
such a
listening.
big Kanye fan.
Up until the Life of Pablo.
Okay.
After that, I can't rock with that. But again, he just recently dropped an album. It's called Bully. He's been touring since the release of the album. He sold out in LA over the weekend.
Yeah.
And was scheduled to perform at the Wireless concert in the UK in the weeks or days ahead or so. But Prime Minister Keir Starmer came forward and said, well, look, boss, you talk all of this anti-Semitic thing about the Jewish community and stuff like that. And while, yes, you took out a one-page apology in the Wall Street Journal, people still feel
People
a
don't
kind of way
forget.
about that.
Yeah.
So much so, Sab, that Pepsi and Diageo, who are two of the biggest sponsors of this particular concert, pulled back and said, yo, we can't put free money behind that. Subsequent to that, the man visa get, well, they didn't allow him entry into the country to perform, right? But the long and short of it is, this is the backlash. And I'm digressing just a bit to make a point, right? Last week, we were dealing with Alexander Mess and the racist comment that he made when the Miss Universe Ivory Coast visited Belize, right? Now we're seeing the backlash of Kanye's anti-Semitic remarks way back from 2022. All of that to say this, right? There is no place for that in this day and age. While we think it has gone away, racism still exists. But when we're able to detect it, we're supposed to be able to do something about it.
Yeah.
You can't just hear it, see it, and turn a blind eye to it, because at the end of the day, it has real effects on people.
You know, what I was also thinking of, and I like the parallel that you put with what takes place locally here. I think oftentimes people just get behind their keyboards, their cell phone devices, and they try to come up with the funniest punchline, right?
Yeah.
At the expense of other people, at the expense of hurting other people's feelings, targeting entire ethnicities, race even, and people aren't into that anymore.
Yeah.
Where, back in the day, you could have gone on like other different platforms like High Five or whatever platform was popular at that time. There's no space for that, as Isani mentioned, and people don't forget. There are some people, though, who truly don't believe in cancel culture, and they believe that people should be given a second chance if they come forward and they sincerely apologize.
So
However, if you have a pattern of doing that repeatedly, I think that should also be
to stick
acknowledged.
a quick pin there, right? You make an excellent point, because that was the reason why the organizers and the promoters of the concert gave Kanye West the headlining space, so to speak. He was a headliner for 3 consecutive nights because they figured, okay, well, there's space for reform and apologies.
Especially if you put mental health in it. I mean, it's known information that he has not been of full sound mind. People legitimately have like mental health issues, and so if you
people
can't
legitimately use or attempt to use mental health as a reason to justify certain behaviors too. That's the reason I'm scratching my head on that one. Right? I don't know, but I'm not a psychiatrist of any sort. But certain pills fairly bitter and hard to swallow, right?
I agree with you.
All right, moving along, right? Yesterday was an interesting day, simply because after all the hullabaloo of the so-called Sobombra Florio Lions Club raffle that never was, that this club was supposed to refund these people their monies.
Yeah.
And ticket booth was supposed to open at 10 a.m. and it's supposed to be gone through to 4:30. For anyone who spent $100 purchasing a ticket. But as it seems with this whole soap opera, I'm one thing to the next.
Not
to the
a
next
soap
to the
opera.
other, right? So it never really opened at 10 o'clock. But people
also
legitimately...
Belize time, man, you know?
No. You can't say Belize time, Sam. You know why? People traveled from near and far and stood in front of the Civic at 10 to redeem their money. That never happened until sometime after 2 or something like that in the afternoon. Right? And
that insult to injury.
It's a black eye on that. And let's be honest with each other, Sab. Sobombra Florio Lions Club, in my opinion, has had the most face time in the media. At least here at GBM, because I sit on with Panis Coach and we interview their people for all of their various activities and stuff like that. That is a statement of fact, right? Not to have this black eye over a raffle. You've sold these tickets. People legitimately thought that this was, you know, the real deal.
Yeah.
A 2026 Hilux. Who would not want a chance to win that vehicle?
Yeah.
But there wasn't a vehicle.
So that's one of the points that I mentioned the last time, and I think it was with me and Paul. But I spoke on it on the ground of like having and hosting several charitable organizations that would come on the couch here and highlight, you know, different events that they're hosting that involve some raffle one way or another. And we know whenever the big trucks are involved at the end of the year, people get excited about it, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Aside from the reputation of the organization, like the Lions Club, like the Rotary Club of Belize, people trust these organizations. But what I wanted to highlight was a comment that was made, I believe, by one of the former board members. And she mentioned, or she referenced the international organization, because I think we're forgetting that the Lions Club also has its international arm. And so this is also a black eye for the international organization, organization even. And so will they recover from this? I'm not sure. Belizeans tend to forget things, but when you put money in the mix, I don't know about that part there.
Well, they will recover.
Yeah.
Right? The question of the leadership of the particular club becomes a real concern, right? Because when you have allegations swirling around someone and their leadership of an organization, you know, until and unless it's proven, that's one thing. But you can't carry that cloud over you and want to do legitimate business and stuff, and in the back of people's minds, I wonder if this is real.
But
or
what
I
do
wonder
you
if
think,
this is just another, you know?
I'm also thinking to myself, what could have helped this situation not be as messy? Because one, we know that the raffle never took place. Do we feel that maybe if they came forward sooner and tried to...
One word, transparency.
Yeah.
Transparency, right? I used to hate the 3 words that come together, right? Transparency, accountability, and good governance.
But if they come forward and say, look,
they
guys,
make perfect sense, though.
We try to figure it out. We will get on no money as quickly as possible. Do you think that would have made a difference?
No. So if you to go back from the very beginning, as far as my understanding of it, you ought to have secured the vehicle in the first place.
But that never happened. What I'm saying is...
Okay, but that's where the issue began, right?
Yeah.
The vehicle was never secured. They Ghana Belize diesel with a pro forma invoice or whatever happened there, and they did not sign off on saying, well, this is the vehicle, this is actually what's going to be raffled off in December.
Yeah.
That never happened, right? some reason was given, oh, we're not selling enough tickets or whatever the justification was, and people were still okay with that because it has happened elsewhere. I believe there was a vehicle from another organization to have been raffled last year at the Agric show, but because they didn't sell enough tickets within that space of time, they pushed it back. People could understand that, right? But when it comes to a situation where it hits the proverbial fan, right?
Yeah, yo.
That's the point where you're supposed to come forward and say, you know what, man, make we be fully honest and open with
That's
this
what I
whole
was
thing.
saying.
That's where transparency comes in, right?
That's what I think they
because
should have
questions are now being raised. If the public was completely unaware of the fact that there was no actual vehicle and you're using ticket sales or the lack thereof as to why you're moving back the date of the raffle, unbeknownst to us, okay, that's fine. But when people start ask certain questions, time for your come clean then, put it that way. And that never really, it doesn't seem as if though that happened.
Yeah.
Right?
We saw yesterday with the coverage that our colleague Paul did, there seems to have been frustration from the people for obvious reasons.
People are frustrated.
Of course, as Isani mentioned, the reimbursement should have started at 10 a.m. in the morning. However, it began much later in the afternoon. And so there were some people who were obviously frustrated. You mentioned some of them traveling from outside the city as well. I believe we spoke to someone who came from Ladyville, jumping on a bus, hoping last year that they want to drive off with a new Hilux, a new pickup, and now they have to go about trying to recover what they invested last year. Ultimately, we hope that this is, you know, one of those stories that other charitable organizations or just persons who carry out raffles definitely take as a lesson. Don't go about collecting monies on something you have not secured already.
Make I throw this in now, I left it there, right? So the BGGL, right, which oversees gaming in this country, right? The lotteries and all of these things, right? They had issued a statement from last year, if not the year before, where they're looking very, very closely at games of chance, right?
Yeah.
So raffles and all of these things. So I'm not saying that they fell asleep at the wheel, but more due diligence has to be.
Yeah, tighter measures probably need to be put in
If you
place.
got a raffle, show me that you don't secure the grand prize.
Yeah.
Show me that every aspect of this activity is above board. That's the role of the BGGL where that is concerned.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what happened here. Maybe they gave them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not
it's a trusted organization. And ultimately, I think what's also worthy of mentioning, and that's my last point on it, there are several branches of these organizations too. So perhaps, you know, with what's taking place right now with the sub-umbrella, while they try to clean up this situation, try not to put a cover over the entire organization because there are trusted people, you know, as well. And
that's San Pedro, you got
exactly.
various branches of the Lions, right?
Exactly. And ultimately, we still don't know exactly what took place that led to this point as well. So we're not going about pointing fingers on anyone in particular. But Isani, I do want to move on to some lighter, a lighter topic. Honestly, what I think is probably the best topic on this list. And it's a Cross Borders episode 4 last night airing. It has been such a wonderful experience highlighting what this traveling has been like. Yesterday or last night, we took you to El Salvador. Now, this is our second stop on our 2-stop tour of Central America. As you can see there, this was just a beautiful experience that I had as we stopped in at Santa Ana. Santa Ana is the second largest city in El Salvador, and it was once one of the most wealthiest, right? So it was ran by like the coffee community, real like colonial oil money type, you know, poured into this town. And I was able to just stop in for a few hours, immerse myself in the culture and kind of live like the people. One of the things though, Isani, that I wanted to highlight, and I was talking with Marlene about it, is that I never realized that in a lot of these Central American countries, it's very common for people to just kind of sit in these park areas and just be there. It's not very popular here in Belize, though, if you notice.
It has picked up in Belize significantly.
It has now?
Yeah, that's why when you go to Animal Park on the weekend, you have a lot of people who come out as families. If you go to BTL Park over the weekend and elsewhere about the country, it's becoming part of our Belizean culture.
Well, this was very, very common. Like I saw it a lot. This here in Santa Ana, this was like their Central Park area.
Yeah.
And look at me, I know to sell food is on. I know me to go on and try and make and leave money. I just a kid, I never make no money from that. But I was really just helping ladies selling atoles, which is kind of like a porridge. There is like the rice porridge that we would know of here in Belize. They have leche poleada. This type of like atol de piña with a pineapple flavor. Just really cool stuff, and it was nice to just immerse myself in the culture there. But I do want to highlight that next week is our finale, and so it's the final episode of this series. We are going to still be in El Salvador, but it's going to be jam-packed with adventure, visiting different towns all over this country. And I'm just hoping for us to finish with a bang and share your thoughts. Share your thoughts on the actual episodes as they are posted. Would you consider visiting these areas? Would you consider visiting this country even? So it has been wonderful. My final thought on it, I think I was most excited about visiting El Salvador because on the news, we tend to highlight more the crime situation that was coming out of it and then that big, shift that took place. And so to see, firsthand in person what the experience is like, how peaceful it is, how safe it feels, it was really, really eye-opening.
Nice.
All right, let's move things along. We have to jump into our first commercial break at this time, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll be highlighting NADO pushing for drug-free competition.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progreso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
What happens when you step off the edge?
Too late to back out now. He said I'm ready. No, I'm not.
And land somewhere unexpected. Sometimes it breaks you open. Wild at root,
That is very bitter.
but sweet on the tongue. Where history calls out, and you answer with open arms. This isn't just a journey, it's across borders.
That was amazing!
And welcome back. Joining us this morning for our first conversation is my good friend Carlos Charlie Slusher. Most of you guys know him from his work with football.
Yeah.
But he's here in his capacity as the director of the National Anti-Doping Organization, NADO. Good morning.
Good
Charlie
morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me here.
So, this conversation we're about to have with you comes on the heels of the 96 cross-country cycling classic, right? Where Jim Brown and Joven Gonzalez did fairly well. What's it about anti-doping and these major competitions that the average Belizean needs to know?
Well, the key thing is that the whole idea it is to ensure that there's a level playing field. You know, everybody have a fair chance of winning. Also protecting the integrity of the sports and all that. But one of the key things that a lot of people miss is really and truly protecting the athletes from the dangers of these performances and junks. That what could happen after they stop ride. You know, because a lot of athletes eventually suffer from serious complication because, like they always say, only sick people need drugs.
Yeah.
And one of the sad thing about using performance enhancement drugs is that a lot of time these drugs are used extra dosage. It's like you look at simple little things like an ibuprofen. It's not an illegal drug.
Yeah.
But an athlete could say, oh, it kills pain. So 800 gram, they would probably use 800 gram. And those things have serious issues
Because
with
of
their
their
kidneys
tolerance and whatnot.
and all of those. So the key thing, a lot of people only look at the NADO or the anti-doping movement as trying to catch the cheaters. They're trying to ensure all of that aspect. But one of the most important parts is prevention, trying to ensure that the athlete is protected from the danger. Even if you don't want to protect yourself, just by having these tests, we are hoping that you might be scared or you might be discouraged from getting caught, because again, your entire career also can go down the drain, your reputation, all that. You could lose a lot, you know, like you look at Marion Jones, who one of our famous person. What happened to Lance Armstrong again in cycling? So many went from here to, you know, and it's sad that they're still trying to get back their life together after that loss. So, like I said, it is sad to see, especially young athletes who would look to face in that situation. So, you know, so part of our job is really and truly to discourage that, and hopefully they will tend to want to be clean.
Now, when I think of anti-doping, and if I think of performance enhancement drugs, boss, my memory takes me back all the way to Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Right?
I know that it with you.
It is, because he ran and he outran everybody in the Olympics.
Yep.
And then a test was taken afterwards and says, okay, well, this is the reason why you broke the record, because obviously you were under something, right?
Yes.
Now, you take that and you look at what's happening in Belize. Perhaps it's not as talked about in Belize in terms of the various disciplines that we have, right? So if you look for football, you look for track and field, you look for cycling or any other sports, I don't know that we have that conversation enough. Not to take away anything from the work of NADO, but it's not an open conversation.
No, you're totally correct. You know, and that is something that we want to change by. That's why I'm very happy that you guys invite me to the show, because the anti-doping education aspect is very, very important. It's not just the testing, but to get that awareness to everybody, because for us, it's not as big. In other parts of the world, in Europe, it's a crime. It's actually a crime to just have these things in possession.
When did the NADO organization come on the scene? Because as Isani mentioned, I think we haven't been so familiar with the work that you guys have been doing.
Yeah, I don't feel but a lot of people doesn't know much well. But the anti-doping convention was signed in 2004. It was adopted in 2005. The NADO was established in 2009 by the government of Belize. So this is an act of parliament, and it was established basically to have the national anti-doping program and rule where all sporting organization, federation, association, athlete must comply with.
So all disciplines?
All disciplines.
Not just the ones that want to carry out at the country?
But one of the issues is that in most based, like when you look at your risk assessment or your test, which sport should I test? A lot of it has to do again with the benefit, the financial benefit. Is there anything that the cyclist will be motivated? The cyclist or athlete could be motivated to
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 gain.
cheat. So it has to be some financial benefit. It has to be prestige.
Yeah.
Being part of the national team, going international, looking. So those are the sports that you real, as well as the demand of the sport.
Yeah.
You know.
The
Is that
physical
it?
pressure on
Yes,
you
the
to
physical
perform.
pressure on the person. So those are some of the stuff.
Isani mentioned the athlete from the 80s, and unfortunately, I couldn't. I
No, I've been
can't.
watching sports from when I was a child. So
But I never born yet, man.
somebody at world events, you know, right?
But I think of Marion Jones. I mean, I think of the Marion Jones complex and what a big deal that moment was when Miss Jones came to Belize and she was given the key to the city, right?
Yes.
And then getting that news after, what a black eye it put on her name and her reputation
But we
as
go
an
leave it
athlete.
further, Sab. She actually ran with the Belize flag.
Yes,
That was the crowning
pride
moment.
that
of
came
it,
with
so to
that,
speak.
you
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
and of course the equal shame that we had to carry as well after celebrating
Yes,
that with
yes,
her.
yeah.
This is why it's so important that these checks are being made, because there are people who will be breaking records,
yes.
and they'll be doing so in a way that, one, as you mentioned, could be harmful to them, but two, could put a stain on an entire country.
Yes.
What are the tests, though? Like, I'm always curious to know
Walk
what
us
exactly
through
you
it.
check. What would you check for?
Well, there's something called a prohibited list that the World Anti-Doping Agency, every year there's an updated prohibited list. And you could go on the website and find it at any time, where, like, simple thing like steroids, growth hormones, EPO, some of the very serious drugs. But there's a list so all athletes can access that list, because you go back to Marion Jones and certain situation where you heard that maybe it was the coach. But there is something in it where say it's the athlete responsibility for what you take.
Yeah, what you consume.
Yes, because it's very serious, because a lot of time the coaches, the management, they want to win. So they will come to say, Charlie, hey, coach, I hurt, but no, see the injection here.
Yeah.
So
use this balm or whatever.
Use this and use that. So it's very serious for you to ensure that you protect yourself as an athlete.
Isani said use this bomb, and I like that he pointed that out, because when I think of like performance enhancement drugs, I think of like injections or like things that you will actually consume. Are there like prohibited drugs that you actually put on like topically?
Yes, there's balm, there's things that you could rub on.
That's like prohibited?
Inhalers, yes, there's inhalers. An athlete,
Comes in various
a
forms.
footballer from Belize actually got suspended for a year for using a inhaler that a lot of us use. So it's very, you
what
really
type
have
of
to...
inhaler?
Inhaler that we will
like
use
a Vicks inhaler,
like a Vicks inhaler. Those, there are certain over-the-counter drugs that actually is prohibited. So it's very, like, you're competing at a high level, you know you'll be tested. Like I said, ensure that you do your research. I mean, say you have the internet, it's a very easy access to get all these things, but do your homework, because you're protecting yourself, your career. So don't let down your guard, but you ask about the process. Really, you could do, for us, it's basically a urine sample process. So you basically have to provide urine sample. The stages would be that you will be notified. And again, like I said, if it's in competition or out of competition testing, I could show up. If it's out of competition, I could show up at your house at any time. And you really, like I said, the athlete will be selected. There's a notification process. I will come and say that you have been notified. And once you have been notified, you have to comply. You cannot go and pee, or you cannot go do anything until after the process. So you report to the doping control station, where there is trained and accredited people there. So I cannot be the one processing you. I have to get international training. So every doping control officer that processes this athlete is accredited with the World Anti-Doping Agency training. Likewise, your sample collection equipment, there's a equipment that you will choose with an A and B sample, where your urine will either go in both. Your B sample is stored in the event that you have a positive test and you want to recheck it, and then they will check the B sample, and after that you have to give a minimum of basically 90 millimeter urine. It splits in, like I said, the A and the B sample. You seal it. You measure the specific gravity. It is sealed in a bottle that only a lab can, and then it's sent abroad to a WADA accredited lab.
How long does that process take to get the results, though?
Within 14 working days.
Oh, okay,
but it
so
has
like
to
2
be
weeks.
sent. It's only a few World anti-doping labs in the world. So
Yeah.
it cannot just send to a lab. Anyway, so it's sent there, and within 14 days you get back your
So
result.
this accounts for the reason why, for instance, if we were to look at the cross-country outcome on Holy Saturday, right? It's about 2 weeks before they actually get their prizes because you have
Yes, you
to
gotta wait.
ensure
Yes.
that everything is
Yes,
clean and
That makes sense.
the way it is set up is that no prize are given until the results come back. So the moment the results come back, we will be sharing it with the Cycling Federation as well as with the Olympic Committee, because the Olympic is also part of the partnership
Yes.
when it comes to.
Do you guys go by like random selection, who gets tested, or is it based on like suspicion?
Well, it goes, like I said, you could be tested by positioning.
Okay.
In other words, a placement. If you
Yeah.
come first, second, third, which is not is normal the
okay,
process.
okay.
Then you have random. I could just say, well, there's 5 names and I pick one.
Yeah.
As well as the most effective that we use more is called target testing. The few athletes that got caught in the past was through targeting. For example, you might be targeted for a specific reason. For example, there was a rider that was leading the entire race
Yeah.
all the way to the end, but when he reached to the line, he did not pass the line, he went in a chuck. But he got all the station prize and he
Yeah.
could have, so that is a particular reason he will be targeted
Okay, I'm
for
with
testing.
you. What are some of the repercussions that takes place, though, aside from maybe taking away their station prizes or whatever they would have won, and just the black eye? Are they
Banning
like
them-
restricted from
banning them
playing?
from
No,
the
no,
sport.
From the
the
sport?
last one, our last promising cyclist got banned for 4 years. Certain substance automatically have a 4-year ban.
Yeah.
Certain substance might have 2 and certain things, but there's certain substance that is a 4. He has a 4-year ban, and sadly, that his entire career just
Yeah,
just
dies down.
disappear.
What's the substance that has like the biggest or the longest ban?
Well, one of the key prohibited, you say, substance is EPO for cycling.
Yeah.
You know.
What's EPO?
Well, it's a drug that they take, but what it does, it's the danger of it is that it makes your blood get so thick like honey,
Yeah.
because again more oxygen,
But then you
more
could suffer from blood clots as a result.
blood clot. Your heart work harder to pump
to pump that
to
blood.
pump that
Whoa.
blood, and it's
Imagine you're
very
riding for such long
it's
periods.
one of the most prevalent drugs here
Yeah.
in our region. In other part of the world, you hear about blood doping, but we are not that level yet where there's blood transfusion and all that. Like the Lance Armstrong era was about blood doping, but that again is not just about testing. You will be in a testing pool, or they call it a biological passport, where every other day I'll be testing your blood level to see how your blood fluctuates, and that's how these guys are caught.
Are there any natural, like people would take like natural substances?
Yeah, like natural vitamins and substances, yes.
Okay,
That's
but
different. It's natural.
yeah, well, I was asking that exactly. Can people take anything like naturally that's also prohibited, or is it only like
No, once
pharmaceuticals?
yes, and that's synthetic. A lot of people like the protein. You have to be very careful if it's natural protein or synthetic protein, because again, you could have a.
How about things like creatine, that people use to like help improve their performance over time? I don't know. Well, I just started the gym, so I'm just learning about like different supplements that you can take. So I don't know what's like prohibited or not.
The key thing is, I always say, like, I watch some of the young kids right now. There's a little drink that they say a hyper or a monster or this. So the key thing is that you try to discourage people from depending. Give me that extra boost to do something. Like you're talking about certain names. You don't want to start using things to perform better, because again it goes from here. Then you might say, I need something else.
Yeah.
And then that's where the illegal things start.
And that's where addiction comes about.
And that's where the addiction comes out, that you feel like you're depending on something to boost you instead of putting in the work.
I could see like pre-workout being like that.
Here's the thing, Charlie. As an athlete, a young athlete, I think your primary goal is to aspire for greatness, right? You want to win this challenge, this competition, you want to go outside of the country, so on and so forth. And so in the process, you're building a reputation for yourself amongst other participants in that discipline and the country and so on. And then you tarnish that whole reputation.
One moment, And there's no way most of the time you can't get that back. And one of the good things about the testing also is like a lot of times in Belize, like, you know, it's a small country. So a lot of times it's just like you look at Jim Brown, and because these guys broke the record, you hear, oh, they're on the drugs. They're using. So when these tests are done, like I said, it brings credibility to you also. It brings respect to you. Exactly. So you'll be getting what you deserve.
Yes.
You know? Yes, man. It's on, hey, the man put in the work and he's a good.
But on the flip side of that coin, Charlie, like when you look at all the endorsements of the major athletes who have been busted for performance enhancement, right? Lance Armstrong was a Nike athlete.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
He had the whole wristband thing. You had Marianne Jones who had all of her endorsements and what have you. So it's not only a black eye on the athlete, but it also looks bad on the sponsors who stand behind these athletes who may not know better. Because Nike wasn't in the lab when Lance Armstrong's specimen was being tested. Nor were they in Marianne Jones's one. But these are the major companies, and if you look at it from a Belizean perspective, it don't hard to get sponsorship that Belize for any sport. Now imagine you come out there, you get busted for that, right?
And it's big monies they're investing in these people as well, and so that's a waste for them too.
And that again, an important role for having NADO being part of those big events. Because of the integrity, like you said, you want sponsorship to come, but nobody would give you anything towards something if it's renegade or it's all out cheating or all out that. You know, you'll discourage people. Although NADO does not need an invitation to attend any sporting organization.
Show up and do your thing.
We could show up and do the testing.
How big is this organization in terms of like human resource?
Well, it other than our doping control officers, normally we will have like results management panel. There's something called therapeutic use exemption panel. For example, you're talking about sick, because there are times when people say, oh, I'm sick and I take this. No, it
so
doesn't
no
excuse you.
No excuse.
Unless there's, like I said, there's something called therapeutic use exemption that you could apply to take that drug if you're sick. But then again, it's not automatic unless if there's any alternative that is not prohibited, then you have to take the alternative, but you won't be taking the performance enhancement one.
Do you guys collect any type of data on maybe like the most common performance enhancement drugs that athletes in Belize might be taking?
Well, again, like I said, the growth hormone, the steroids, and the EPO is becoming very prevalent.
Okay.
You see, because a lot of times certain substance might be at the you see the results coming back, but there's also a threshold. So sometimes you might say, oh, the EPO is in, you see some prohibited substance there and there, but it's not the amount. So you can.
Because it depends on when they took it too, right?
And the amount. So that's where.
So if you have, like for instance, what we call trace levels of something, that's very minute, right? I don't know, like your fine latte in our system is faint, so to speak. That is below the threshold, right? So that could pass in a manner of speaking, but it's if you have a good amount of it in your system.
If you have that, then it goes to a positive you call it atypical in the sense that it might need further investigation or further tests.
But does that amount depend on when it was probably taken versus the amount that was taken?
Well, and that's why where the outer competition testing is very important, because there are certain. It is a reality that there is certain athlete that will use the performance enhancement drugs just before the event. And again, like I go back to the Target. They had an athlete that was winning every prize, every race when there was no anti-doping testing. So every time there was an anti-doping testing, the athlete is coming in 5th, 6th, 7th, like don't want to pass the line. But when there's none, so those things again, it's like you're trying to, and that's where the outer competition or the Target come, that we would say, hey, because like you rightfully said, they would time it, so that you know that the substance comes out to your system. You know, so what normally, that's how the outer competition will come. I'll show up
at your house.
At your house before the competition, you know, a couple of weeks or so within that time, and test you to see if you're using or not, no?
What's the next step for NADO in terms of like growth of the organization, having access to further resources to improve on the testing? You mentioned that Belize is still only doing certain types of tests. Where do you see the organization
Well,
going?
for me, I'm very positive in the sense that I must, and I'm glad that you mentioned this. I have to give a lot of credit to the Minister of Sport, Honorable Anthony Marla, Devin Daly, as well as the Director of the National Sports Council for the support of the NADO. Because although the NADO was established as an independent body, it gets its full support from the Ministry of Sports.
That's
and
important.
I must say honestly that this is the best chance that we have, the most resources the NADO have ever had in the past, which simply means that now we could do more tests. Various type of sports, most of the sports, you hear about the big basketball prize and all that. So I say it on TV. So it's NBL.
Hello, we'll be at your door.
You know,
That $100,000 first.
No white cheap, no
because
white
again,
easy.
you know, those are the things that when you have those
that's
amount
good, though.
of finance and it goes to, like I said, to ensure that again the integrity, the credibility, and ensure that there is testing for those sports. So, but again, I have to commend the minister and the job that they're doing. So we are expecting. I think this year might be a record year when it comes to anti-doping tests. But again, one of the most important things for us also this year is the anti-doping education and awareness campaign that we want to do to try to sensitize the entire country and start to make people understand the importance of it, no?
Mr. Stolsher, this has been a wonderful conversation. I learned a lot in terms of the work coming out of NADO. We understand the importance of it, and we wish you guys all the best in improving on the resources that is needed so that our athletes can also stay accountable as well.
Yes, and thank you.
All right, we are going to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, exploring job opportunities with BCCI Job Expo.
Good conversation.
Yeah, man, thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." Charles Daniels was one of the greatest friends I ever had. He owned a construction company in Beaumont, Texas, and helped us build churches in Belize. He told me that when he and his wife Lucille married, that they made a covenant with one another to never go to bed at night until they had settled all of their differences. They honored that commitment until his unexpected death. Of course, I heard of another couple who made this commitment after their marriage, and they did not go to sleep for 3 weeks. But seriously, we should bring all of our sins before Christ at the end of each day, confess them, receive forgiveness, and shut the gate on them. This reminds me of a couple of men walking through a field where cows were grazing one day. They were so absorbed in their conversation that they forgot to close the gate that they had walked through. One of the men turned and went back to close the gate. He then related the story of a doctor who was dying and was asked by a minister whether there was anything he wanted to say before he slipped away. "No," the doctor replied, "except that through life I think I have always closed the gates behind me." The dying man had learned to put his sins, his failures, and all of his disappointments behind him. Maybe we all need to learn this lesson today.
Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Welcome back. This is our second conversation, and it's all about exploring job opportunities with BCCI's upcoming Job Expo. We are joined this morning by three representatives. We have here with us Marketing and PR Manager Andrew Usher, representing BCCI. Also with us, Andrea Galati. She's the Marketing and Communications Officer representing Finance Belize. And Ana Sofia Castillo, Marketing and Recruitment and Solutions Director representing Equity BPO Belize Limited. Guys, thanks so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for having us.
It feels like we only have you here, Andrew, when there's big expos popping up, opportunities for people. So that's a good sign. Whenever we see you here, I hope people associate you with that now.
I can't complain. I appreciate every opportunity
No complaints.
I have to come on. Yeah.
But it's really cool because I feel like annually we have you guys on the couch with us talking about the Job Expo set to take place. And you know, I have a couple questions that I'm eager to ask, but before we get into some of those exciting questions that I have in my arsenal, let's get an overview of the Expo and what it is for people who might not be, you know, familiar with it.
Yeah, so this is actually the 4th annual event. The Link Up Job Fair is what we call it internally. And it's basically an opportunity for employers to meet job seekers who are looking to either enter the workforce or re-enter the workforce. And this year we're actually hosting it in Belmopan.
Oh.
I know people are used to having it at the Civic Center here in Belize City. But we did have multiple requests from different businesses and organizations to try to see if we could do it out district. So this year we're taking it to Belmopan initially. We might still have one in the city, but for now we're focusing on Belmopan and surrounding areas. That doesn't mean that it's only jobs available in that specific area, because we do have jobs in other districts. But for this time around, it's being held at the George Price Center next week, Saturday, that's the 18th of April, from 10 to 3 p.m. So we're encouraging everybody that's looking to, you know, find some type of job that you would have in your specific field, because there's a wide variety of jobs. So it's not just, you know, maybe customer service or sales. There's a wide variety.
Like entry-level jobs, people might
entry
think.
level and very technical as well. Some of them are engineers that people are looking for.
Oh, okay.
So we're hoping that people will come out, they see the episode today, and they, you know, have an incentive to come out, because I know how difficult it can be to find a job in today's market, and especially for those students that are coming out and they're like, what is there available to me? And especially since we're in Belmopan, Galen is nearby, University of Belize is nearby, it's an opportunity for those students to come out and see what's available as well.
What are we looking at in terms of partnerships for businesses to come out and advertise these vacancies or these positions?
Well, you know, we have 15 different businesses participating this year, businesses and organizations, because it's not necessarily just businesses that will be hiring. We have organizations that are going to be out there to really give information as well. UB and the Belize Labor Department are also going to be out there to kind of partner and assist students as well as those looking for jobs. You know, they might need resume revisions, they might need advice, they might need, you know, information on training opportunities, internships and stuff like that. So it's really a great opportunity for these businesses to be able to say, you know what, we want to be a part of this event. We see how fruitful it can be in terms of the quality of and caliber of employees that we could bring in the workforce. So for us, it was really like a no-brainer to have it there. And these organizations, we actually had about 2 or 3 that came after the fact that were like, hey, we want to be a part of this event. We know you're already full, because we were limited to about 14. That might balloon. I said balloon, but it's really going to be about 16 more, along with the different table spaces that we have. So we are totally appreciative of the interest that these businesses had to be a part of the event.
I think we're in such an interesting time where people are more and more becoming entrepreneurs, and they're deciding that they don't want to necessarily work for someone. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up was the low unemployment rate that we heard from the Statistical Institute of Belize as well. And so I'm always curious about the importance of having events like this when people are increasingly deciding to go on their own, or just saying, hey, I don't necessarily want to do this, you know, work for somebody else. Do you find that the businesses are reaching out to the BCCI and saying, we're actually like really looking for people to work, and a lot of people aren't really applying for jobs anymore.
You know, that was the case initially. I think one of the things that we have to realize also is the cost of living at present day. Because for a lot of people, if you're salaried, your salary doesn't necessarily increase every year, whereas the price of goods might change for you regularly. Take gas, for instance. Just an increase in gas will cause your inputs to increase. And so for an entrepreneur, you might say to yourself, well, even though I own my own business, I might need a salary job because this isn't paying enough. So
people want multiple streams of income, is what you're saying.
At this point, even myself, you know, I look at...
We don't blame you.
I look at multiple opportunities just because it's very difficult to have, and especially if you have a family, it's very difficult to have this one.
And school fees. And
I think that is also being normalized, and so that's an excellent point. But let's get the other ladies in the conversation. We have Andrea here representing Finance Belize. Let's talk about why you guys decided to partner with BCCI and who you're looking for.
Sure. So good morning again, and thank you for having all of us here with you today. And thanks to Andrew for inviting us as well. So as Afra mentioned, I am representing Finance Belize, and it's really important for us to contribute to an initiative because one of our core pillars is human capital development. And we've recently launched a survey based on finding out from 50 different businesses. So we got 50 people to participate from different businesses in the financial services sector, ranging from registered agents, law firms, insurance firms, to answer some questions that we had about what they feel about skill gaps in Belize. What are we missing? Is it just technical skills, soft skills? What are they looking for? And it ties right in with what Andrew said with younger people looking for jobs. But we need to understand, if it's one of our core pillars, we need to understand as an institution, how can we help, not just by researching and finding this information, but how can we help contribute to filling that gap? And we found out that currently, I can share about 1,400 of those responses said that they have, 1,400 jobs are currently available, give or take, in that sector alone.
Wow.
But within the next year to 2 years, call it 2026 to 2027, maybe beginning of 2028, we're looking at 1,300 more in that sector alone, which is a significant increase.
Yes.
So there is chance for growth. But how do we fix the gaps where we have students that come in with education but maybe not experience? How can we fix that? And being present and partnering with BCCI and all other businesses in this helps us understand what we can do to make a difference. And also partnering with other businesses saying, okay, well, if education may be a limitation or resources, as we all know, financing is always something that comes up, well, we can do it, but we don't have enough money. How can we partner with others? I'm not saying we can give money. Unfortunately, we're always mistaken for a lending institution, but how can we still contribute? Because one of our main missions is to ensure that our country continues to grow in our economy. And it's important that we establish a certain level of interaction with the public. And we will launch the findings from our survey. We're still currently wrapping that up and analyzing data to properly deliver it to the public. So be on the lookout for that. We will be sharing that with the general public very soon. So everyone has an idea of what's missing in that arena and how we can come together and make a difference, right? So being a part of this is important for us, not just as an institution, but even as human beings. You know, we're young people in the workforce. We've been in the workforce for, I won't say how long, because that's long. But
we're still young, don't worry.
We're still young, but we've been around, right? It's really important for us to partner and also, you know, encourage other people to not give up on their dreams. You know, as a young person myself, I'm free to say I'm also an entrepreneur. So while having a full-time job, I have my own businesses on the side, but that doesn't take away from my 8 to 5. That's my priority because I need that capital to maintain my other businesses, and that's where my full focus is.
That's an excellent point.
Right? And I encourage people to do that, and it's not for the sake of wanting money, but it's for the sake of not just survival, but we want to thrive, and we can. It's just we need the necessary information, the necessary guidance, especially because some people have the concept but they don't know how to get there. And that's where we need to partner up with each other and say, okay, here's the issue, let's bring a solution, right? And being partners with people like BCCI and Equity and other businesses in this initiative isn't just saying, hey, we have jobs, come and sign up. It's actually being a part of a revolution. and encouraging people to get guidance in how to get there. Like I think on one of the flyers it said it gives certain points, like bring your resume, dress accordingly, be ready for a walk-in interview.
Please dress accordingly. Please dress
Oh no, why does that, why are you sighing that way, Andrew? Are you seeing people come?
I mean, I think Sophia can probably touch on
Sophia,
that a bit
tell
more.
us, what are people coming dressed as?
Well, yeah, dress code is something that needs to be addressed sometimes, because normally we get people like ripped jeans and t-shirts and hoodies. Yeah.
Because they're figuring it's on a Saturday or on a weekend or
Market day.
Yeah.
Workdays.
So, sorry, let me take it back. They're figuring it's a casual affair. So they show up as is. That's what I meant, right?
Yeah.
But it's not as though they're thinking, you know what? My first impression may very well be the only one that I have when I appear at this job fair, right?
Well, that's fair. You know, that's fair, right? It's different when they show up to the site, for example, and they apply. Of course, they come well dressed up, business casual, and like I would say they unfold differently that they would do at a job fair. That's fair.
So let me ask you this, Sophia. You're a BPO. Equity is one of the names in this country that are known in terms of that particular type of work that you guys do. Why participate in a job fair when the common thinking is everybody know that the BPO sector is always looking for people and always open for new employers?
Well, the thing is that one of the things that has been happening, or at least for equity itself, is that we're not only call center work. Like we don't only take entry level. We also have specialized positions. Like for example, we have campaigns where we have recruiters that dedicate themselves to a different office and they recruit people for our clients. We have other campaigns that they do tax collection, for example. We have others that they will be helping insurance. Like there's different types of things. We even have one that is dedicated to marketing. So there's this misconception that the BPO industry, it's only entry-level positions, when in reality, when they start a career like with us, then after the experience gain opens the gates for the all different positions that we offer. Right, so that's actually one of the main reasons why we continue participating in all these fairs, job fairs, and all these things that give us this forum so that we can talk to the applicants and tell them, hey, it's not only calling and texting and sending emails.
So
you can also pursue a career with us.
So there's upward mobility within the company.
Yes,
that's what
there
you're
is.
saying.
And even longevity, it sounds like
and continue in terms of the various offerings higher up.
Yes, like it's very common to see in the call centers that people start as agents and now they are the directors, the managers, and the people that is actually managing everyone there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's talk about some of the positions and businesses that will be present as well in Belmopan.
I will do my best to try to remember them. I hope they can bring,
we got
them up on the screen too.
16 of them.
You know, I know, I'll try to remember as best as possible. So I know Acuity. I always get the name wrong because there's an emphasis on the Acuity. So Acuity, BPO, Belize Limited.
I said it too.
Yeah, so Acuity is going to be there. I do believe there's going to be 2 more BPOs, including the Office Gurus as well as Transparent BPO.
Okay.
I know Mejias United is going to be out there. Boyne is a common one as well. Belize Ship Handlers, that's on the screen right now. Finance Belize, as well as Benny's. I believe Alaya is going to be there as a group of companies, so there's going to be different opportunities, not only at Alaya, which is in San Pedro and Bergesquí, but in different locations as well. I think they also
I think
feature
Next Gen?
Fort George. Yeah, Next Gen. And I always get this wrong, so I'll just say OSIP. So OSIP is going to be there as well. The Office of Insurance, Plets, of course. Plets, kudos to Plets and their marketing team. They're great. RF&G Insurance. So there's going to be a lot of businesses out there that have different skilled positions available, and it's really just for those in the surrounding areas. And I mean, you can really come from different locations. It doesn't have to be Cayo in general, but you can come from as far as PG, maybe from the islands as well. It's a great opportunity to see what's available, because Alaya, which is in Bergesquí, they're looking for people to come out there that want to be a part of that experience, the island life, as opposed to, that doesn't necessarily on the people that are already on the island, but sometimes you need that rotation of skilled labor, because what might be, I might think I might be the best personality, the best customer service person in the world. There might be somebody better than me, and they might have.
There's always someone that's better.
Exactly, right. So they might have the skills that this business or organization needs more so than what I am providing, and it's really a testament to how committed the businesses and organizations are to being a part of this event. I can't stress enough how appreciative we are at the Chamber for the support that we've gotten this year, and the interest as well. I think, for the job fairs that we host, we always try to go big. We try to have a large amount. This year, because we're in Belmopan and the space that we have at the George Price Center, we only had about 14. I think in Belize City it's usually between 28 and 32. So this is a much more intimate setting where people can come in. It's table space, so it's not necessarily booth spacing that they're used to. You come and you sit behind a table and you get to interact with the recruiters, learn more about them. And just to touch very quickly on the clothing issue. So why we say dress to impress is because a lot of times people come to the event, like you mentioned, they think it's a casual event, but you have to remember that you're being interviewed. You're coming here for a job opportunity, even if it's just to be a help, a dishwasher or something similar along that line. You can still come dressed business casual. We're not saying you have to come dressed to the nines in a complete jacket and stuff like that, but you do need to come presentable and come with a personality that people will want to be able to say, you know what, I like what you bring to the table right off the bat. If this is your energy while I'm interviewing you here, I can imagine when you're in the workplace. Some people come, they're very quiet, they're shy, they're not necessarily what the recruiters are expecting. And we know there's different, people have different personality types, but you have to just kind of tweak your presentation a bit, practice. And that's why the labor department is there as well, because if you need that help, you can go there, sit with them and be like, what can I do to improve before I walk through those doors? Because they're actually going to be the way how, I don't know if you've ever been to the George Price Center, but there's 2 rooms before you step into where the big space is upstairs. So in one of those rooms, you'll be able to go in there, have a chat with the team, and then go in and really put your best foot forward. And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that people will come and put their best foot forward and get hired.
You never know. You might be, charismatic enough for someone to say, "We want you right now." Let's. You're
and don't limit yourself, because we have 3 BPOs there. Try all 3 and see.
Fight for y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Go with the best offer, right?
Yeah.
If I can add to what Andrew said, there's this one phrase that always stayed heavily in my head. Dress for the job that you want, and even if you don't know what you want, dress accordingly, because it exudes confidence. And I encourage everyone, not just younger people, but we have older people, as Afra mentioned, who want to come back into the workforce. And it's never too late to try again, because life happens, unexpected things happen, and we have to take a step away from working for a while. But I think it's important to share a widespread message saying that no matter what job you're coming to apply for, even if you're just coming to, how we say, fast, but come ready, because you never know when an opportunity will present itself to you. And I think it's important to share positive things and encourage people to see the wider spectrum rather than just keeping a tunnel vision, because opportunities are endless, and we always say our little country has so much to offer. Yes, when it comes to tourism and what's not, but we have a lot of business opportunities to offer as well. So,
well, as we wind down this conversation, there are a few things that have stayed with me. One, even if you are an entrepreneur, don't lose sight of the possibility and the opportunities that exist when you have a steady paying job as well. And 2, when you show up to that job fair, dress appropriately. Please don't go for market day and think that you could go drop off your resume and go to market after. Dress for the job that you want, as Ms. Galati mentioned. And also, the BPOs will be there, but there's not only entry-level jobs. you can even build a career with all of these companies that will be there. There's 16 of them, opportunities for everyone. Go with your resume, and if you don't have it intact, you can get that fixed up there too. But go with confidence and trust that you will walk away with something. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, we take another quick break, but don't go anywhere when we come back. Aziatic elevates Belizean sound with, we're gonna say that when we come back.
I swapped out the water inlet valve and everything is running normally.
Amazing. So what will be the cost?
Oh, for you? There's no cost.
No cost? I'm flattered, but I'm actually married.
Oh no, nothing like that. It's actually part of our 1-year warranty policy.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
Really?
No.
Belize's only full-service GE USA dealer. Full service, full warranty, full selection. GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
It's a matchup fever this week in the NABL as we hit the halfway point. Friday night, the powerful Griga Dream Ballers hit the city for a showdown versus the red hot Belize City Defenders at the Belize Civic Center. Game starts at 9 p.m. Halftime entertainment by Vida Max.
I want peace. I want problems!
Then on Saturday night, the number 2 team, the Hungry Tiger Sharks, await the undefeated Bad Boys, the Orange Walk Running Rebels at the Belize Civic Center in a battle for first place. And in Cayo, the Cayo Western Ballers look to put a beat down on the winless Corzal Spartans. 8 p.m. at the Victor Galvez Stadium. Entertainment by the General himself, Super G, the NABL Girls, and hosted by DJ Dollar. Giveaways at all games and the halftime $5,000 National Sports Council Shooting Challenge. So come out and support your NABL team for this mega matchup fever weekend. Sponsored by the Government of Belize.
Every idea starts with a curious mind. You're the girls who will build the future.
And that's what Girls in Tech is all about, helping you learn, discover, and see what is possible.
Each of you, if you want, you can be the innovators of the future.
The long-term objectives is to amplify their minds and the opportunities.
Mornings with the kids are always busy, but having the space we need makes life easier. With the Jack T8, we have the comfort, reliability, and space we need. With fully breathable leather seats, 6-speed manual transmission, 9-inch LCD screen with Apple CarPlay and Android, 4-cylinder, fully turbo diesel, and space for my entire family. We can count on Jack to get us there safely and comfortably.
We at Full Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy8. we deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan, want it right now. Me want my Smart plan, want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan, want it right now. Smart. Stay connected, stay happy.
Every idea starts with a curious mind. You're the girls who will build the future.
And that's what Girls in Tech is all about, helping you learn, discover, and see what is possible.
Each of you, if you want, you can be the innovators of the future.
The long-term objectives is to amplify their minds and the opportunities.
We do la furu Garabali Nuru Garabali Mabagari Gatia. We do la furu Garabali Nuru Garabali Mabagari Gatia.
All right, welcome back, welcome back. What you saw just now is GBM's premiere of Aziatic's new video. It's called Garabali Nuru, the East Wind. In studio with us this morning is Aziatic himself. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Aziatic is joined by Jeremy Christoph. He's the director and a cinematographer of that video we just saw.
Beautiful.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome back, Aziatic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What a way to set the tone, I think.
Yeah, no, right, kinda
Middle of the
calm
week,
down,
I feel like it's a celebration. No, I need to practice after that.
So, we just get some new music from you. What have you been up to?
Man, just been up to a lot. Most importantly, was trying to get this video completed. Took about what, three weeks to put it together.
Yeah.
But it kind of started from a live performance I did in Griga for 19th.
Yeah.
So it was kind of recorded live. So that song is actually a live performance.
Oh, that's
But it was still kind of, I took it to the studio and tweaked it a little bit. I was like, man, it's kind of hot. So I called Jeremy, like, let's do a video. He had so much energy, I just had to do a video to it.
So let's talk about the work that went into shooting the video and editing it, because it does not seem like, how I would say, like a local production, right? It seems
Big up you.
world class. What went into that in terms of getting the visuals together and bringing it together as one coherent piece?
Yeah, well, first off, appreciate the words for sure. I think it had to do with me and Aziatic for real, because then the whole idea, there wasn't really a plan per se. We just needed scenes and the right moments for really capture that scene and make it work. But basically the whole concept was kind of like off the top, just made it work.
Yeah.
Generally.
One of the things I really appreciate about the video is kind of like it has its own level of storytelling, aside from, like just the performances, the dancing and whatnot. Kind of seemed a little bit magical. The way he appeared on screen, it looked like some type of like sorcery, and then he disappeared at the end.
Definitely on Aziatic, because mostly his ideas were very permanent in this one.
So I want you guys to walk me through that, because one, I don't understand what is being said. I know the title itself means Eastern Wind or Easterly Wind. Yeah. So what is the song about, and is that type of storytelling also being displayed visually as well?
Well, not specifically. But basically what the song is talking about is how with the laugh of Nuru, like how nice the breeze that's blowing from the east feels.
Okay.
And the wind is blowing so beautifully, and then it also has a reference to birds, which it says that birds are better than us as humans, because of the fact that whenever they're bored somewhere, they could just flap their wings and fly in the breeze and go wherever they want.
We saw that in the video.
Yeah, so without any kind of restraint, no need no passport, no money, they just go. So it's like they're just free to do whatever they want. And as humans, we're kind of envious of the fact that we can't do that. Like just leave whenever we want.
For the generation who might not be familiar with you and your work, Aziatic, tell me a bit about how long you've been doing this and the commitment that it's taken to continue creating art.
Well, I mean, my first album was released in Jam '96, and it was always something that I as far as the process, I've always had this idea that I always want to be different from everybody else. If you look at all my albums, even my album covers they're not traditional. They're always so, I've never dressed like a girlfriend or artist, if you want to per se. It's only now in the recent years where you see people dressed like kind of like, I don't know, like without any kind of girlfriend attire.
Or Western type culture.
Yeah, all artists used to do that. So I decided I want to be a little more hip, you know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in California, and I was influenced by R&B and hip hop and stuff like that. So whenever I started doing girlfriend music, I brought that into it. And a lot of people tell me that due to that, it brought a lot of young people into the fold, like to listen to the girlfriend music, not just the girlfriend kids, but like everybody, because I guess they could relate to the fact that I was dressed like hip hop and chains and all that stuff. Nobody was doing that. You know, I was coloring my hair.
Yeah.
And just doing different things. So I look at the entire process, not just the music, you know.
Well, I want to take a quick pause and go back over to Mr. Jeremy and talk about your journey in the type of art that you do as well, because you're an artist in your own right. How long have you been doing cinematography work or filmmaking, and how has that been providing that to artists in Belize as well?
Well, I actually started doing film from like about 15 years old.
Yeah.
When I first found a camera in my dad's closet, and I flashed it, and this light came on, and since then it was just a dream come true. I just pursued that, and here I am now. But my main target is to set Belize on like the world-class stage, especially Garifuna music. As then you tend to see Garifuna music being kind of like, especially visuals, they're usually mediocre and they're not really up to standard. I think that's my main goal, for raise the bar.
And that's
high.
the reason why I was saying the video itself looks internationally shot as opposed
appreciate
to
that, man.
You know, the existing time. It's not that we're saying that Belize doesn't have the talent to bring this up to the level that it is, but it just seems like a cut above what we've been used to seeing.
I'm coming from you, that mean a lot, because I definitely put the work in for sure. Facts.
That's all, bro.
Endorsement.
Appreciate it.
Are you self-taught?
Oh yeah, from YouTube University.
Oh wow.
Definitely.
Literally from grown up.
That's good, man. That's
no
good,
film
man.
school, none of that.
I mean, coming through and doing this video, I took Jeremy aside and I told him, I said, this video has to be different.
I think actually came hard on me,
you know, I told him, I said, bro, and I want to be a part of the process all from the beginning to the end. Because a lot of times, especially here, like in Belize, we tend to have directors or people do our videos, and we do the shoot, and then they do the directing at home by themselves. Like, we're not in the part of the process.
Like intimately involved in the process.
So, and then of course, you know, like my first videos I put like Chate Chate. Then we had the Crazy Food. Like back then, those were it elevated the game then. So I was like, I gotta do something else to change the game as well now. Like always trying to do something different to change it, to take the game to a different level. So I was like, bro, we have to do something that's different, like just on a different level, and just show what's possible, you know, to do and to showcase our music and the talents that we have.
And seeing videos like Chatty Chatty, the same video inspire me as well. So
yeah,
I guess you're a young boy when you started.
Yeah, definitely. And now having the privilege to work with Aziatic, dream come true.
All right, so let's talk about what we can expect going forward. It seems like you're having a bit of a resurgence, or is it that, you know, you're working on something that you're going to drop on us sometime soon?
Like JD said, there's no more defense, all offense now.
All offense?
You know what I'm saying? Because again, we're planning, I have a whole album completed, Perunda album complete, that actually Jeremy, he's also a songwriter, amazing. He wrote like 3 or 4 songs on the project.
Nice.
As well as Aurelio wrote a song for me, the late great Aurelio. I have a track with Andy Palacio on it, and I have a track with Consigo, my cousin Consigo.
These are all folks that have gone before us.
And it's a project that took about 6-7 years to complete. So it's finally complete, and Jerry and I were just talking, well, we've been talking about it, but we're discussing it again, that we're going to start working on that video for one of these songs on there. So that's what we have to work on. And we have a lot of projects. I mean, the whole idea again is to go back in the studio and just hammer out, just hit after hit. Yeah.
Well, how can we follow your journey? Are you on social media pages for both you and Jeremy?
Well, I got a Facebook page. I had an Instagram. I think I hacked, but I got a Facebook page. It's The Real Aziatic, and also got a TikTok. Same thing, The Real Aziatic.
All right. And Jeremy, for you, how can people get in touch with you?
I have Facebook, Instagram, Jeremy Christoph, and I have YouTube, Out the Box Films, Belize. Check all my work on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, I also have a YouTube channel, so yeah, you can just search me on the YouTube.
All right.
And subscribe.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe and follow.
Yeah, man.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This has been wonderful. We appreciate the art that both of you individually make, the collaboration here as well. We saw beautiful magic on display, and we hope for more projects coming out.
Yes,
definitely more projects.
And thank you guys for having us. I want to thank Jerry for the wonderful work. I also want to thank one person, Hewitt Stevens. He was very instrumental in helping us with the project, allowing us a nice quiet space to work, you know, up in the hills there at Pineapple Hill. So
nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, and we wish you all the best.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
All right, we take another quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, Belize City Defenders takes on the Dream Ballers.
The demand on your business get higher. More productivity, better equipment, and reliable support to keep up with a fast-moving world. At Cellular World Business Solutions, we're ready to help you boost performance across every operation. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. With our certified and supported solutions, your business stays ahead. We supply office equipment, printers, inks, and toners, software licenses, IT system assembly as your Dell Platinum and Cisco partner, appliances, and custom orders tailored to your needs. From startups to large enterprises and renowned institutions, we serve every corner of the country because no industry can afford to fall behind on technology. Let's take your business to the next level. Contact us today at 610-2494. Cellular World Business Solutions, your reliable partner in business success.
Protect your motor, secure your property. Oh yeah, Home Protector Insurance got you covered, you see. Covered, you see. From motor to property, and even marine. We'll keep you safe no matter where you've been. No matter where you've been, no matter where you've been. Get the peace of mind that only we can bring. Oh yeah. With our insurance, you will never fret or sing. Never fret or sing. We offer bonds and so much more. So much more. Home Protector Insurance, we got what you're looking for. What you're looking for. Secure your
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Every idea starts with a curious mind. You're the girls who will build the future.
And that's what Girls in Tech is all about, helping you learn, discover, and see what is possible.
Each of you, if you want, you can be the innovators of the future.
The long-term objectives is to amplify their minds and the opportunities.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about the city now. It's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back. This is our final conversation. Belize City Defenders taking on Griga Dream Balas. And we have here with us, no stranger to you guys, John Marsden. He's the marketing director representing Belize City Defenders. And he brings along with him Shane Pratt in the middle, a player representing the Defenders. And also Ajang or Ajang Aguak, a player as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. A little bit early, but I see you, Mr. Pratt, looking like, whew. It's early in the morning, but thanks so much for joining us. Let's talk about your presence here, what the season has been looking like so far, and what we can expect for the upcoming game. John, can we begin with you?
All right, so I brought with me today 2 new faces to Belizean public. One coming from South Sudan is AJ. His name is Ajang, everybody calls him AJ for short.
Alrighty.
Aguak, he's a double machine, we call him.
What that mean? Double machine.
He averages over 10 points, he averages over 10 rebounds.
Okay.
Right,
nice.
So every time he steps on that court, he gives us above 10 points, he gives us above 10 rebounds.
And I mean, he's tall.
He's tall.
Ajang, how tall are you?
Really fast.
6'8".
6'8".
Yeah,
wow.
Right, yeah, so he teaches a good part of the game of how you can get easy baskets by just outrunning your opponent. He literally does not stop running.
Yeah.
He runs, rebounds, grab the ball, throws it, and just run.
Yeah.
Right, and then on my middle side here, we have the #1 shooter in the NEBL, Mr. Run and Gun, Shane Pratt. He is a Belizean born, Belizean descent. He lives in Belize. He's a full-bred Belizean. Young guy, 21 years old.
Wow.
Has a bright future ahead of him. He's one of the bright spots in Defenders basketball, and he's very, very fun to watch on the court. I mean, he has no problem shooting the ball from anywhere. If a lefty want to shoot from half court.
That sounds like you practice a lot, Mr. Pratt.
All right,
Yes, I'm staying at the gym.
When did you get into basketball, and when did you decide that you wanted to enter the league?
Well, for me, I started basketball when I'm 15 years old. Then I made player 1 Amateur League. Then I met Polo Lightburn. And from then, they are not Polo.
So Polo is your mentor?
Yeah, he teach me the game of basketball then. And I went to States. To our academy in OKC. I wasn't a shooter. I was just driving and dunk. But there they have everything. So reps on every day. Gym. As I wake up, I go outside the court there, shooting machine. So when I come back, I say I want to play in a league because I feel like I'm ready for playing in the league. So I'm linked Jacob to play for Defenders, and I went to tryouts. I was playing good and they signed me up, and for then I start.
Why did you specifically choose Defenders to play with?
Because Defender was my team going. I was going to all Defenders games from long time, like Nigel Jones. I have a picture with him from I was small.
The Nigel Jones.
He was this young 16-year-old guy taking a picture with Nigel when he first came to Belize.
That's so crazy because in my mind, I feel like Nigel has only been here like 2 years, you know.
Nigel actually been here almost, I think it's 8 years now.
That is crazy. Now let's go over to AJ because you know you're fresh from you're an import, right? And so that's a big deal for us as well. What made you decide to come and play here in Belize?
I mean, I was playing in Mexico right before this, and then Jacob hit me up and told me about this opportunity, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then once our season ended, came straight to here.
Yeah.
His season ended the Friday. He left for Belize this Saturday, right?
Wow.
Wow, you were in demand.
What has it been like for you, though? I would gather it's a totally different experience in terms of the culture, the food, aside from the sporting life. What has it been like for you?
I mean, before I got here, I thought everybody spoke Spanish out here, so I was like,
common misconception.
Then you realize it's an English-speaking country, but most people talk Creole as opposed to English, right?
yeah. I mean, I was in the car with John. He was like, I was like, what are y'all speaking out here? Like, I don't understand.
Creole.
Yeah, man.
You know what, though? I'm going to shift things up a little bit different from the normal conversations that we would have when we have these athletes on the show. We have, some of the best players in the country on the couch with us right now. And I want to understand how these athletes train. We know you go on the court every day, but what do you guys eat? What's the diet like? Do you have like a strict diet that they're on, John? No, Mr. Pratt, what do you eat every day? What did you have for breakfast this morning?
To be honest, I usually eat breakfast. When I finish workout, because we got shoot around like 10 to 12, I would eat a burrito or anything more, man.
That no sound like an athlete.
So for them, they have to eat a lot. Right? Like we don't have one restriction for them because they work out 2 times, sometimes 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of Shane to shoot around 10 to 12, then he go to the gym, go lift weights, and then he go to work out 8 to 10 a night.
Yeah.
So you don't have like a strict meal plan? No?
You shouldn't have to. I mean,
they burn it out for the day, right?
Like a strict protein, like macros, you have none of that?
Like I tell for them cook, because we have one personal cook for the imports them. I need to know for load them up with carbs because they kind of take out a lot of energy during the day. So they need to get back wholesome food. And I left them hungry, and then they kind of drop down on the quarter or something. So they need to be full.
So what have you been eating, Mr. AJ? I mean, have you been trying some Belizean dishes?
Yeah, I had like a lot of rice and beans, some chicken, or what else I tried? Pasta.
Yeah, some pasta.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And I recently learned that you also have kind of like this fun fact about you. You teach Pilates as well. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's get into the game aspect now. That was some inside information on the athletes. I know that you have an upcoming game as well, but I just want to quickly go to some comments here. There's a viewer saying, but this had a problem, Johnny. They just the gym, but they don't run. Our players aren't runners, and my team tired fast. What? I'm sorry, I just read the comment. What do you say to that?
I don't think they get tired fast. I think because you exert so much energy, we kind of push defense. So when you're getting there, like in terms of like Shane look tired, but Shane is not tired. Shane does, because he's going so fast on the court, they have to long for acute their breath for like those instead of they can't catch their breath and then breathe fast, but they're able to transcend their breath over. Right. So I don't think they get tired. I don't feel like we're tired. It's just their style of how they breathe and how they cope with the fast breaths when they have to take.
Yeah.
And our team is 12 deep.
Yeah.
Right. I got from 1 to 12 where I could come in and I sure could give me one either. If they're not good points, they're good defense, good rebounding, something. Each person on our team have a role for play, and I think we built the team that way so that we can play the style that we want to play. Defenders has always have been that high octane, sharp shooting kind of style of basketball, and when we first started this year, we were not we lost sight of that vision.
Yeah.
Bringing in AJ and the other new import Bobby. They have just came in and then just follow the correct role of defenders basketball has always been. That the run and gun.
I was just about to say, you mentioned earlier that AJ's running game is second to none in terms of being able to keep up on both sides of the floor.
In the NEBL, the number 1 scorer for the NEBL is this guy, Faron Laureano. Faron made a living off of just grabbing the rebound, getting it to his point guard and run left the other big man.
Yeah.
Right? He made thousands of points just doing that. Score.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 big man just because he rebounded grid, get the ball to his point guard and run left another big man.
Yeah.
Right? So when AJ came in, I told AJ, you want to make a living in this league, grab the rebound, get it to your guard. Or the beauty of AJ has dribbling skills.
Yeah.
So AJ can run the court as well. When he get the ball, he don't wait for nobody in the go.
when the point guard can't get the ball and he just run left there, that big man.
So speed is his
so
greatest asset.
his game transcends into Belizean style basketball for a big man. We don't necessarily have that big man post game.
Yeah.
Right? He can do that, but his game is just outrunning the players. Right? In terms of Shane has a knockdown shooter. Literally, you have to get up and Shane in your face. Because if you get Shane 1 ounce of hand down, the man down in your head, because Shane has
2 feet.
he want to shoot it for you. He have no problem shooting the ball. But they will tell you, stop shooting the ball.
That's good though. That's a good problem to have.
But coming on to Friday, we have the Griga Dream Baller. So that basically the out of the top 4 teams.
Okay.
You have two of the hottest teams on streaks, right? We have the defenders just thrown the undefeated Tiger Sharks last week.
Yeah.
So we're going on to the Griga crowd now, who is coming on a 2-game win streak, I think, as well. We're on a 3-game win streak. So somebody's streak will end.
Either that stop or that stop there.
I know we are win, right? But that's not what I beat.
Big up, yes.
The last time we did anything, I tell before I beat down the Corozal crowd, I tell them sorry, right?
But that Corozal crowd, but yeah, that's another thing altogether.
Honestly, they're a great young core. I like the young core of them. I tell them, not get disappointed or discouraged.
Yeah.
Just keep with it. When you keep this crew together, they'll be a crew in the future. Because they're lone 20, your early 20s guys on the team, right?
52.7, me sad though.
So just to make we just core.
I have to drink a couple extra beer to
make
get over the last.
What? Put this in there, right? So they've lost to teams by average of 8 points.
Yeah.
With the exception of defenders, everybody then they have lost to
by narrow margins.
By
right?
narrow margins. So
but that defenders game bound.
We had to come out and make a statement, right? People may think we are back in the league, so we just have to make them know, we just make them know. We give them a league break for begin with.
Yeah.
Back to business and into serious business now. So since then, I mean, the addition of AG and Bobby with the core that we had, we get back to defenders basketball. Speed, defense, run and gun, make quick points, tire out the next team.
Yeah.
Right, so to the person that made that comment, it's not that we get tired, it's that the style of play, the high intensity. Right, so they're not necessarily tired, they just have to take quick breaths. Right, so you look like you're tired, but you're not tired.
Yeah.
Right, and so Friday, I mean, we intend to give Griga the work as well, right? I need the fans then to come out for support. We asked the Belize City fans come out. We've extended the time now. We used to start 8 o'clock. We noticed that most times the games begin empty.
Yeah.
So it's okay, we can give people more time to come out. We're beginning the games now at 9.
Yeah.
Just to accommodate people for coming out. And we know that we wanted to do the 8 o'clock, but seeing how it's working, we had to move back to the 9 o'clock hour. Tickets are general, it's only $10. You can come, bring your kids out.
Yeah.
Kids are $5 under 12. VIP seating is $25, and then courtside is $50. Our gates open at 8 p.m. or no, 7 p.m. So you could come in, start, prepare, watch the guys and shoot around. Get the AC will be cold, so bring your jackets if you want to. A very fun-filled game. We have a lot of entertainment. At halftime, we have the $5,000 challenge. We have had so far in the league 2 people winning the $5,000 at games.
Nice.
And we also have at halftime performing is Vida Mugs. We take the artists and bring them to perform for we. Right? Before we beat them, we take the artists. Right?
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, before we wind things down, I want to give you guys the mic and ask if there's anyone you would like to big up, for the journey so far. Any memory that you'd like to highlight? Any lead trash talk you want to put out what people can expect come Friday? Let's begin with you, Mr. Pratt.
For me, I just want to big up my mom. She always push me and my family. I big up Coach Pop, Pull a Light Bear, and everybody who will be part of my success this far. Yeah.
And Mr. AJ?
To big up, that's like to
shout out. Give a shout out.
say hi.
You want to say hi to, maybe family members tuning in, or, just give credit to people who've been along this journey with you?
Yeah, my friends, family back home, coaches. I mean, it's been a journey, and I'm glad to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure having you guys on set with us. I know that a lot of people are rooting for the defenders. They want to get to the end with them, and hopefully have you guys walk away with the championship as well. So we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, at this time, we do have to wind things down and close things up. We are going to take one short final break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." Charles Daniels was one of the greatest friends I ever had. He owned a construction company in Beaumont, Texas, and helped us build churches in Belize. He told me that when he and his wife Lucille married, that they made a covenant with one another to never go to bed at night until they had settled all of their differences. They honored that commitment until his unexpected death. Of course, I heard of another couple who made this commitment after their marriage, and they did not go to sleep for 3 weeks. But seriously, we should bring all of our sins before Christ at the end of each day, confess them, receive forgiveness, and shut the gate on them. This reminds me of a couple of men walking through a field where cows were grazing one day. They were so absorbed in their conversation that they forgot to close the gate that they had walked through. One of the men turned and went back to close the gate. He then related the story of a doctor who was dying and was asked by a minister whether there was anything he wanted to say before he slipped away. "No," the doctor replied, "except that through life I think I have always closed the gates behind me." The dying man had learned to put his sins, his failures, and all of his disappointments behind him. Maybe we all need to learn this lesson today. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us. We are wrapping things up, and it is April 8th. If anyone is celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com. You can also check out our socials. We have Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ. Instagram for behind the scenes contents, that's OYE Belize. We also have TikTok, that's openyoureyes.bz. And we even have a phone number where you can call or text us. That's 675-2555. But please, do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
To start your morning right
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.